Is the motivation course oriented towards language learning only? It's a good question. It is taking Smarter German and learning German as an example, but the technique in there you can apply to anything, to any goal you want to have, you want to set and achieve. So no, it's not oriented towards language learning only. In fact, I will have a live session at one point, maybe next week, in which I will demonstrate a similar technique, not the one in that course, because otherwise why would I sell it, but a similar technique because I want to play around with something very powerful that will help people lose their fear of speaking and fear of being in an exam. So I will reach out to you via email looking for victims on this. Yeah, be prepared. But it's powerful stuff. I love Stevie and the way he works and his honesty. It's a really wonderful man, and just give it a shot. I'm in your C1 course for some time, and actually I have to mute someone. Sorry. Mute. Can I not do that? Participants? Can you all check whether you're muted? And sometimes I'm actually registered for C1 exam that is scheduled in a month's time. Even though I follow along your course dutifully, I'm still freaking out. Yeah, understandably. I recently took a vocabulary test that says I score only 45% in the most common 5,000 German words. What do you think I should do, prioritize in order to pass the exam? It's a beautiful question, Cayman. First of all, the most common 5,000 German words is absolute rubbish. It's nonsense. So what that does is it scans the internet or literature for the 5,000 most frequent words, but that might be contain words that you will never ever see in real life unless you read these books, and you might not need these words when speaking. The question is, what are you freaking out about? So the vocabulary test, you don't need that much. You can get away maybe with 3,000, 2,500, 3,000 words in C1, possibly. No? Nobody can count that anyhow. You will never know how many words you know, even though Memrise might show you have studied this and this and that. You don't know how much you remember, and you are able to recall in a moment where it's needed. So don't get hooked on the numbers. Numbers are always thrown out there, and I do the same, to cause a sense of security. Yeah, but I don't do that to fool you or to scare you. I always put a little disclaimer somewhere near that. All numbers are fake. Yeah, when it comes to language learning, all levels are fake. Because what is A1 level? Nobody knows. A good A1 might be better than a bad B1. Who knows? I don't know. It means you have heard of certain concepts, but it's really almost impossible. You follow your guts as an examiner. You have certain criteria that you follow, but if you ask me, this is really just nothing. Yeah. And the same with that. So my advice is to follow my course A to Z, because that course was created by a guy with my support, of course, Raphael, who was an old colleague of mine at the language school, and he has been teaching C1 for roughly 20 years. And he's now publishing books on learning German on the higher levels, an absolute expert. And this course is very close to the requirements of an exam, closer than any of my other courses. I think you do yourself a favor if you really work through this course meticulously. But in addition to that, look at sample exams one after another, go through one without cheating, without a dictionary, see where you are, and then analyze the results. You need to analyze, you need to reflect, you need to question, is that really what I need and what I have understood? Yeah. By the way, if you're still on the old platform, I'm also on Zoom. There's a link in the sticky things. Just join me there. So, but Cayman, feel free to reach out to me by email. I would love to try my new technique with you to actually work with this anxiety. And maybe we can get to a point together where you don't freak out anymore. And let me know if you'd be happy to do this publicly. You don't have to show your face, but I need to hear your voice and under recorded circumstances, but you don't have to do that. I also do it with you in private. Yeah. The question about books. Books in general, there are no books that are best for intermediate learners, beginners, or advanced learners. Books. The best book is the book that you want to read and that you're capable of reading. So the best way to find one is to really just try. Don't read children's books. That's a myth. It's nonsense. It's beautiful to read them, but that's rather B2, C1 level. Rather read simple books like Harry Potter or Star Trek or Stephen King. That's my basic literature. Because it's simple vocabulary and the author uses the same words over and over again. So try something very popular and very simple. Yeah, the more popular usually means the more digestible the language they use. It doesn't mean that they are in any form worse or less intelligent. Yeah, but there's a reason why things are popular. Yeah, also because they are very good. Yeah, might also be a good reason. Is there a technique you would recommend for learning verbs with prefixes in an efficient way? Absolutely. I have that in my B2 course. I don't think I have it somewhere else. The question is, well, no, actually, what the prefix verbs I usually do not teach. There is an article on my blog. If you search for madness of prefixes, you will find it, and that will help you. That's freely available. Madness of prefixes. Yeah, it's a beautiful article. Yeah. Thanks for the offer. Is the Teach Yourself series on German any good as a supplement to your course or in general? Well, it's okay if you have nothing better. I don't think you need to supplement my course. That's the first thing. If you supplement my course, supplement it with real life stuff, because that's where you want to be, where you want to go. You want to go into real life. You don't want to go into another teaching stuff. It's definitely not bad. I found it very uninspired when I looked at that back in the days. But if you like it, but I don't think you need to supplement anything. Read real stuff. Yeah. Look for what you are really interested in. Someone asked if there's a discount for the A1 to B1 course. There will be maybe in June. We're finalizing things and looking at it. So if you want to wait. I can tell you exactly when it starts. It's not my field. I outsourced all this to my right hand. I would not recommend anything to supplement the course. Thank you, Mikhail. Totally agree. Thanks so much for answering my worries. I'm particularly freaking out on the speaking and writing. I understand that. Writing needs to be approached in a very meticulous manner. I'm not sure how actually we do this in the C1 course, because in C1 you usually are already advanced and you know how to work, because otherwise you possibly wouldn't have gotten that far. If you went through Smarter German, you know exactly from the first level on how to write efficiently, because there is a strategy behind how to write efficiently. And if you preview my B1, B2 course, maybe it's better for you. The first lesson is for free. Look at the writing. There you find the technique for free. I'm not sure whether we teach that technique in C1. It might be, but I'm not sure. Yeah, but contact me. Yeah, I'm happy to do this with you. What level of students is your course offer? How long is this course? I offer courses from A1 to C1, but A1, A2, B1 are in one course at the moment. I'm working on a separation, but that takes another 3 months. And the course is as long as you want it to be. It brings you to that level. And if you get through this in 3 months, congratulations. If it takes you a year, totally fine. You have lifelong access. And at one point, we're also switching our payment model when we create the new courses. But there will very likely always be a way to have a one-off payment and have lifelong access. Yeah? Sure. Mikhail, by the way, the offer also counts for you if you want to do this technique, which Stevie names identity shifting. I'd be happy to try it with you. No promises that it will do anything, but it will definitely not worsen things. Yeah? I found you through Teachable, and I'm a total newbie to German. I've always wanted to learn German and would love to register for your courses. But as someone who had to quit my job while I wait for my work permit to be renewed, I have enough time but not enough spare spending money to enroll. So to that end, I wondered if I can ask when you might be running a special for your beginners courses. Somewhere mid-June. But Sneha, I thought you were already working with my course. Or maybe you're a different snare. But just reach out to me. Write me an email, explain your situation, make an effort. If you make an effort, I'm always listening. If you just write me, I have no money, please cheap, then I will not bother. It's what comes in goes out, or what comes around goes around, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, my time is very limited. So if people make an effort, I appreciate that, and I also make an effort at least to send an honest answer or response your way. Yeah. And I'm not offended if someone writes a one-liner and doesn't know how to communicate. That's fine, but it's yeah, I'm old. I really, at the time, I feel old, and I read that. So many young people who really have struggles with communicating. I actually am thinking about creating a course on communication. Yeah. You wouldn't believe how many highs I get on Facebook or on WhatsApp, and it's simply not how you address a business, also a private person in Germany. Maybe that is for younger people, I don't know. To which level of German does your course offer? Yeah, that's from A1 to C1. We have everything covered. C2 we will not cover, because C2 is for unicorns, and there's very few of those out there. Yeah. What reason do you have to not trust the whole thing with learning styles? Well, as I said, it's nonsense. It's impossible to... The idea behind learning styles is that teachers should create learning materials that fit perfectly your learning style. That's the whole thought behind it. But it's impossible to define your learning style. You are very likely using 10 learning styles at once, and it's impossible to create learning materials that just fit to 1, 2, or 3 preferences of yours. It's impossible, and that's my whole thing, to mistrust it. And it's not my mistrust as well. I just read the science on it, and science is very clear on that. Yeah. And if you want to believe that you are this and that kind of learner, and that you have to smell the German words in order to learn them, by all means, smell the German words and learn them like that. You might learn some, but very likely not because you smelled them, but because God knows what, many other influences. It's impossible to measure what it was that made you learn better in that regard. What influences your learning is what I said afterwards, but also is what you eat, how you live, your psychology. These have influences. If your life is a mess, your learning is a mess. Very likely, unless you're a little bit schizophrenic, yeah, or whatever that is. If you eat shittily, for whatever reason, there's always good reasons for that as well, you will not be capable of taking in much information or remembering it. Your brain burns 20% of the energy you take in. So you eat 2,000 calories a day. That's 400 calories alone for your brain. That's a lot for that little thing. Of course, the rest also has to be maintained, yeah, depending on how much you move. And all these things. So there are way more important factors, more influential factors that influence your learning in a positive and negative way than what people call learning styles. Science couldn't get to an agreement, and it's rather laughed upon to consider that there's a learning style. And by laughing upon, don't take it too personal. Yeah, science is also in a way very neutral. It's people who sometimes are a little bit arrogant, but science is very neutral. There is no evidence that these learning styles exist as a separate entity. Yeah, they are presented as scientifically based, but you know, many things are. And science is also something that evolves. Just because one scientist claims something, it's like climate warming. You know, you might be a climate denier, and then you say, you know, this 1% says it's different, but 99% says it's true. So yeah, sure, choose to believe the 1%, and maybe it turns out one day when the world is a desert that they were wrong. But it's okay to follow the masses at times. Yeah, at least when it comes to evidence and science. And it's okay to question everything. Yeah. But use your critical thinking, look at the world, and just don't try to make it personal, because Yeah. It's probably a different Sneha. Okay, yeah, good. So I didn't know it was a too popular name. Someone with 2 kids, I understand the lack of time, so I'm absolutely serious about learning. I appreciate your candor and will be happy to write you an email. Yeah, write me an email. Don't wait. I'm sure I run a diesel brain. Schön. Would explain both the performance and the weight accumulation. Would you happen to know how many % do you need in order to pass the Goethe C1? That's always very simple. It's 60%. Shouldn't be different in C1. 60% is a general passing score on most exams worldwide. And then there is indeed depending on whether it's a modular exam or how modular it is. Usually in some exams you have only the written part and then the oral part. In other exams you have reading, listening, writing tasks as individual modules, and you can tank individual ones, fail individual ones and repeat them. But sometimes you need a minimum amount of points to even be allowed to move to the oral part. So that's in the conditions of the exam, which you can always get by asking the institution where you take it or on their homepage. Yeah. Okay, so the 4 coffees I had today paid off. I think we handled everything very quickly. This is not a coffee. If you have any more questions, let me know. Saga, if your hand is up, you can just drag it down and just turn on your audio and talk to me. It's also fine. I'm always happy to talk to humans. Hi. Very nice. So, yeah. So, what is the question? What do you need? Well, it is written exactly in the course. Everything you need is in the course. It's not in the community. It's not elsewhere. It's in the course and it's step by step. So if there's anything that you don't understand, it might be that you have skipped something by accident or on purpose, I don't know. But if you go through the instructions, the first time you come across the secretary technique, I guide you through it step by step. Choose the topic, write down the trigger words, and then practice and record yourself and compare. That's roughly the steps with everything I do. And if there's anything that's unclear, just let me know. Unclear step. Secretary is possibly step, what is it, 7? 7A, 7B, and then in the community you can tell me and ask me. Yeah, but it's all there. So, there's never anything outside of my course that you need to look at. The community, you could go to the channel in the community learning techniques where there is the secretary technique linked to, and there you can click then and you have it there as well. It will link to the course though. Yeah, and it might only link to the A1 to B1 course. So if you're B2 level, it might not do that. But you can always reach out there to me. But it's usually in that course that you work on. Yeah. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good course. Yeah. I cannot expect you to know how to do a secretary technique, which is an invention of mine. Yeah. You can never find that anywhere else. The similar technique, maybe, but not in that way. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Reach out to me. I'm always there. There's only bad teaching. Yeah. I totally agree. And bad learning. Are there good places to test what your level of German is? I understand that you have no real meaning of levels, but the Ausländeramt does. If the Ausländeramt needs, it depends on what it is for and how gentle they are. Usually they want an official certificate. It might be that a local exam does the job at any language school. If I give you a certificate, that is usually worth nothing because I cannot control whether you go there or not and whether it was you who reached the level. So, but if you want to play it safe, you go to the Goethe Institute or any TELC, we call them TELC with a C, institution. There are many worldwide that test your language level officially. You can prepare for that, and if it's let me know what level you need. If it's B1, I have a special course for that. That prepares you specifically for hacking this exam with the knowledge you have. You need knowledge, yeah? but you don't need to be perfect in order to pass the exam. And the Ausländerbehörde, yeah, it depends what they need and what they say they need. Yeah, you can also send me an email with the requirements and I can tell you what you need. But the safe play is Goethe or Telk or Austrian, if that's of any relevance to you. Mikkel asked whether I believe in transformative learning. It's a beautiful name, Mikkel. Explain it to me. What is transformative learning? How can learning ever be non-transformative? That's my counter question to you. So yes, I believe in transformative learning because there's nothing but transformative learning. Yeah. Jack Mizerov. I don't know him yet, but I'm happy to look at that. But if some oxygen or whatever you want to call it, yeah, as a gas mixture, then maybe stay alert. I'm on lesson 40, but I'm struggling with constant learning routine. So I haven't heard of the transformative learning approach or idea or theory. I will look into this. Yeah, but in the term itself is rather redundant. I'm currently on lection 40, but I'm struggling with constant learning routine. Normally, after some days, constant learning period, I cannot maintain tempo. Any advice? Sure. You're human, so I would say that's normal. And you need to, maybe on a day where you feel bad about it, look into why didn't you achieve this goal of yours? Is there a good reason for it? Maybe your health wasn't up to the game, or maybe mentally you had a difficult day. The weather was down. Some people are sensitive to the weather. Psychological sorrows. Maybe you had a thought or a belief today, or I don't know, it's not worth all the effort. So if you really want to look deep into it, go for the infinite motivation training. I can only heartily recommend that. It will help you to look at this and also figure this out. You cannot force yourself to be happy. Yeah. But you can look consciously at, okay, I felt down. Is there an obvious reason for it? If there's not an obvious reason for it, there's an unobvious reason for it. And without help, you will not be able to find that. Yeah, that's the problem. Feel free to contact me to do the little experiment and we look into it. Yeah, that's how I recruit my victims. And it's on the house, by the way. I don't charge for that. Yeah, it's my pleasure. May I ask as well, how wide is the gap between reaching C1 certificate and really capable of studying in a Swiss university in German? Well, if you study in German, it is usually high German. I would assume that's the case also in Swiss universities. Difficult to say. I think if you really get the C1 certificate, you should be already pretty well prepared. And then depends on the topic, because you might study something that you haven't prepared for vocabulary-wise. Yeah, so you might have to learn another 500 to 1,000 words that are specific for your field. But that's about it. It's just vocabulary work from then on. So you're well prepared for studying, but you need to still hammer these words in. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the link on transformative learning. I'm curious. It's okay, Mika. I love the question. And I'm always interested in these things. Yeah. Thank you, Cayman. As I said, currently attending his teaching techniques training, and they present the infinitive motivation training, right? They present a lot of things as if they were standard. However, critical thinking is something I have always present. Yeah, it's good. I'm not sure what we actually present there as a standard, but let me know, Mikael. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Health is a huge issue for me. I have many illnesses and take many medications that affect my learning abilities. I totally understand that. I must learn German. Is there anything I can do other than eat right, exercise, and get enough sleep to help me? Be patient and be kind to yourself. You are learning under difficult conditions, and there's not much you can do. Again, my invitation to you, Diana, contact me via email. I'm happy to do this in this little exercise with you where you look into this feeling that might accompany this situation. Yeah, there's often a feeling of frustration with it. Like, I wish I didn't have this. I wish I could study more. I wish I had more time. This I wish or I should. These are very difficult emotions that are rather in the way and have absolutely no benefit. They're very difficult to get rid of. And you might not fully get rid of them, but you might put them in their place, which already makes a huge difference. And that I can possibly try to help you with and see whether it works. Worst case, you've spent an hour with me, which for most people is a pleasant experience. Yeah, there's exceptions, but it's also okay. I sometimes do other things in my life that do not involve devouring smarter German materials. I'm disappointed. What is the infinite motivation training about, Mr. Michael? It's about making your goals conscious, setting conscious goals. And if you don't have conscious goals, you always have a subconscious goal. And then you also go deeper and look at what is in the way to achieve these goals. And you will work on the mindset to make sure you achieve your goals, and also learn how to maintain that mindset. It's a very, very unique course in this context. The techniques might be known to some in the psychological field or life coaching, but in this context, it's unique. Give it a shot. It's $49.90 if you write me an email, and you can try it in 30 days to go through it. And if at the end you say, Michael, that doesn't work, then I give you your money back. But yeah, we might still have a little discussion, and I want to know what you find helpful and what not, but you get your money back either way. I never play with that. Yeah. Okay. 7:10. So max 5 minutes. Yeah. How much time will it take? An average of studying German 2 hours a day. What would it get me? How much time it will take to learn German to B2 level if I put 5 to 6 hours in my daily life? So both. Katan, you just have to try. So if you, for example, work with my any of my courses, you just measure how long does a lesson take you, might be between 3 and 5 hours, and you multiply it by the total number of lessons. Yeah, the first course has 54 lessons, so 150, 200 hours of lifetime, 2 hours a day. That's anything between 80 and 100 days. And then depends on how many days you work. So it's very easy calculation. And of course, it's very vague, but it should do the job. And B2 level can take you anything between 6 months and 2 years. So also you need to just work with the lesson, see how long it takes you, multiply by the total amount of lessons. B2 usually in a language school takes you 6-9 months. Of 4.5 hours a day, 5 times a week. So do the math. Yeah. Do you know how much the course would be for today in euros? I wrote you an email. I hope you get it. I'll look at it after dinner. Yeah. I don't know, but you can look for O&A, whatever that means, O&A.com, and they have a currency converter, or you just enter into Google $429 in euro, but consider you're very like if you're in Germany or Europe, you have to pay VAT on top of that. I just know the $429 is the base price, but 90% VAT in Germany. Goodbye, Ikon. Does it only help to learn German or other things as well, Mr. Michael? Yes, it helps you also learn other things. You can apply to any goal that you have, the infinite motivation training, you mean, right? Yeah. Give it a shot. And if you see it doesn't work, you just write me an email and you get your money back. It's fine. Because I don't get it anyhow. So it's yeah, so I have no loss. But my aim is that you really enjoy it. I never sell shit. I never sell stuff you do not need, because I hate it when people try to sell me their shit. I hate it. Smarter German is not only a language school, it's a business, and it's a business that works differently. It's fine to make money, I have no problem with that, but not on cost of others. It's really not how I want to make my money. Yeah, and it costs quite a lot of money to actually evolve such a course and keep it running. So make sure to spread the word. Yeah. Good. thank you all for lovely questions and for being here. And it's a pleasure. And next time we will meet on Zoom right away. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm famous for this maybe by now, but we shall get there. Yeah, it's all learnings. Last question from Bikash. I'm planning to take exam in October for my master program. So if I put in effort, so can I reach B2 level in 6 months? If you put the right effort into it, and if you reflect, if you follow the principles I lay out in my courses and also in this webinar, yes, it's possible. Start with the infinite motivation training, Bikash, please. You do yourself a favor, write me an email, you get 75% off. I really sell it for 200 normally for externals, but send it to me, $49.90. It's doable. Yeah. And if there's any emergency financially, just make an effort and explain it to me. But if it's not enough effort, I'll let you know. Yeah. Servus, goodbye, schönen Abend, und hope to see you again. Yeah. Love to you, and stay healthy, please.